Hello, Bournemouth fans. Hope you're doing all right this Thursday night. Welcome to this preview of AFC Bournemouth versus Queen's Park Rangers that's taking place at the Vitality Stadium this weekend. Now, in terms of previews, games are going to happen thick and fast for Bournemouth over the next few weeks. I think we worked out there's like 7 games in 20 days or something ridiculous like that. So you may not see as much preview content from us over the next few weeks or so, but we'll, of course, be referring to our teams that we play in all the videos that you see. A face that's familiar to you, of course, is Tom Jordan. How are you, Tom?
All good, Sam. You?
Yeah, very good. International break. How has it served you for the last couple of weeks?
It's just a bit frustrating, isn't it? It's just nice to see the back of it, to be honest. And I think even if England were brilliant, it would still be, you'd still want your club football, don't you? But yeah, last night wasn't too enjoyable.
Should we briefly touch on that? I mean, what did you think? 1-0 against Denmark. It wasn't the best performance.
I mean, it's a difficult one because obviously I think everyone was a little bit baffled by his team selection against Belgium, but you get the job done. So you go, fair enough, and they're a good side, Belgium, so fair play. But last night, you look at the team and you think, we're playing Denmark. We've got so much talent on the substitutes bench, so much attacking, exciting players. And we've got like 7 defensive players out there, 2 defensive midfield players at home to Denmark, and you just think, you just like someone to be a bit braver and just have a bit of a go, make it. It's just a bit disheartening. It's not the results. You kind of go, fair enough, they're not too bad since Gareth's taken over, but it's more everything else about it's just a little bit. It's a bit negative. Do you know what I mean? It's just not that exciting, really. But it's a football fix. That's about all it gives me.
How long is it going to be before you start using the Southgate out hashtag?
I don't think I'm bothered enough. Do you know what I mean? I don't go into it too much, but we've had managers with unbelievable CVs, haven't we? Foreign managers, English managers. Now we've gone for a younger manager. It never works, does it? We've gone everywhere. What are you going to do now? I don't really. Whoever comes in, it seems a bit of a poison chalice at this point, doesn't it?
You're right. In international football, I've fallen out of love with it for quite a few years now. So much so, I was doing a bit of work on my laptop and I had it on Now TV on my phone, just on the side of the sofa on mute. Wasn't even watching it, and there's not even a flicker when a team goes 1-0 up against us, and at full time I didn't really care. It's it's horrible to feel that way. I mean, there's some people touting Eddie Howe for the job, but maybe that's a conversation for another time. But this Saturday we're getting back to what we love best, and whilst we can't be there, that completes the experience, doesn't it? We got QPR at home. It's behind closed doors, of course, and it's a team that are currently sitting 9th in the Championship. They played 4, got 5 points from it. We, of course, are in 3rd place on 10 points. QPR, Tom, how much do you know about them?
Little bits. I mean, in terms of their results, I think they've won 1, lost 1, and drew 2, which is hard to read still at this early stage, and it's hard to read too much into it. Warburton's the manager, I believe. He's been at Brentford and things like that. Rangers as well. So he's a decent manager, managed a few decent clubs. They got a few lively players. They lost Beasley's favourite Eze, didn't they, to Crystal Palace, which I know is a massive blow for them. But they were probably always expected to lose him. I think they got a striker from Scotland, Dykes, who's banged a few already. So, and in terms of their results, I looked at it and they drew with Borough exactly the same as we did, 1-0. So you think, I thought Borough a handy side. Then they got beat to Coventry 3-2. So it's who we obviously beat fairly comfortably. So it's hard to, and because they're kind of that middle team in terms of won a couple, do you know what I mean? 1 drew and lost. But I would always expect QPR to not be down the bottom, but also not be strong enough for the top 6 either. I think they'll be one of the middle teams. But like the Championship is, you can lose to anyone on your day and you can beat anyone on your day. I think it's all quite an even playing field. So, but I'm not really too sure on their style and things like that. So that'll be interesting. JT hopefully has done his homework.
Do you think Queen's Park Rangers are a bigger club than us?
Yeah. I think QPR.
Yeah, I agree.
It depends how far back we go, don't it? I mean, the last 5 years, absolutely not. But historically, QPR, they've had some big players, haven't they? Les Ferdinand, people like that. They've always had some decent players. They've always been Premier League, First Division kind of club, whereas we've always been lower, haven't we, really, apart from recent history. So, yeah, I'd say so. But they've certainly dropped off a cliff a little bit since their last relegation. I remember when they were in the Premier League, they signed people like Rio Ferdinand on the back of his end of his career. They had Tarat or whatever his name was.
Yeah,
And they had
great.
and they got a few kind of like big names in, didn't they? And almost done what Fulham done the last time they were in the Premier League. Splashed a lot of cash and it just didn't work, and they're almost still feeling the height of that, really. But I think it will be an interesting game. Not too much. Going into most of these games now, we're not really sure at the moment. It's just do our thing, and I think we'll be all right.
Yeah, that's right. We've got to concentrate on ourselves. Now, the last time, of course, we're playing at the Vitality, but last time we won a lot at Queen's Park Rangers, that was in 1959. But in terms of our last win against them at the Vitality, well, that came in a 2-1 win. It was the 5th of April 2014. Tommy Elphick notched, I think, just before half-time. Lewis Grabban scored, and Traore scored for Queen's Park Rangers as well. For some reason, I get the feeling we had someone sent off in that game.
Harry Arter.
Harry Arter, of course. So we've always had our ding-dongs against them. And it's going to be a pretty interesting game, not least because we don't know what personnel we're going to have. Now, briefly, well, I mean, I've got 90% of the players we know, but Josh King still, at this point in time when the video's been released, he's still a Bournemouth player, but there seem to be a lot of rumours, don't there, Tom?
Yeah, it does, and I keep almost flip-flopping all the time. On one hand, I think, well, especially after what happened with Fraser, you'd think Josh King will kind of go, well, you know what, if I stay here and I just keep performing, I'll just go to someone either in January or at the end of the season. I'll get a massive signing-on fee because I'll be a free agent. So win-win for me. If I go now, I go to a Premier League club, awesome. And he'd just knuckle down. But then being reports and stuff today that I've seen and quotes from him that, are kind of, they're not awful, they're not Ryan Fraser level, but he just kind of saying, I expected to be gone by now, had kind of an agreement with Bournemouth in January. And I kind of expected to be at another club right now. So we'll see if it happens now or in January. There's no if it happens at all. It's kind of, it's when rather than if, it seems like. Just fine. And he said that he feels like he's given a lot to the club and time now to move on. Yeah, I'd probably agree with that. But yeah, I'm almost flip-flopping because start of the week I was kind of like, if he can just knuckle down, we've got a hell of a player here. But now I'm like, to be fair, I don't think it'll ever get as bad as what happened with Ryan Fraser. But we seem to have at the moment a team there with JT, and we're obviously winning matches helps. They look quite together. They look happy. They enjoy their football. Do we really need someone that, regardless, I'm not saying anything about Josh King as a person, but just having someone that everyone knows really he would rather have left. I just think if you can get 15 million quid for him, he's going to go for free otherwise. I think just let him go. He's not going to be competing against us. He's going to be in the Premier League. He's done well for us, get 15 million quid. But I'm almost feeling like now if we were to do it, why didn't we do it earlier? Because we're not really giving us much time. If that was my thing all the way along. I thought, well, if JT's leaving it this long, is that because he thinks he's going to stay? Because surely he'd rather get it done and then he'd be able to replace him quicker.
Agreed.
It's a difficult one. But at the moment, I think even if Josh King went, if everyone stays fit, we're fine. But Stanislas get a knock, Brooks can get a knock, Danjuma can get a knock. Then you suddenly start thinking, why didn't he replace Josh King with someone? So it's really up in the air. I personally, if you ask me now, I think he'll go. But he won't be in the squad. I'll be if he's in the squad for the game, then he's staying. But I really can't see him being there. And yeah, I think Villa or Everton, by the looks of it, are the main two. West Ham are there, but they seem to be going for that Brentford lad. But any of them clubs again, they've got a hell of a player, I think. So and I wish them all the best. But I'd rather just get done now and let's keep that positivity going. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. And if he does stay, I don't think he's the type of player that will throw his toys out the pram or be disappointed. I think he'll put in 100%. And I'm looking forward to hopefully seeing him play in a Cherries shirt again. But whether that will happen, we don't know. But either way, we have got the personnel if everyone stays fit. So in terms of the internationals, Chris Mepham in the first game for Wales, pulled up with a bit of an injury. David Brooks got a few minutes. Have you been keeping abreast of which players look fit and which players are any doubts at this point in time?
Well, Mepham obviously played against us, didn't he, against England, and didn't have the best game. But
no.
He was supposed to. They had quite a young team out, didn't they? And he was almost one of the more experienced ones, which said a lot. But yeah, he come off with a knock, but then I saw he played last night. Started last night, so makes me think that he's obviously recovered okay, which is the main thing. But Brooks, I believe, got sent back to us. don't know how serious it is. I'm hoping it's not really injuries really with Brooks. I think it's just more he had a really long-term injury, then he's come back, and I just feel like that happens a lot when they come back from a long-term injury. You just getting little knocks all the time. You stop, start. I remember it happened with Maxi Gradle not so long ago. You know, you're kind of playing off adrenaline for a little bit, and then you're just picking up little. It's like almost fatigue. So, yeah. Apart from that, I saw Big Jeff Lerma notched for Colombia, which was great.
Goal machine now.
I know. I don't know where this has come from, but no, I was pleased for him. Trying to think of us. Obviously, King sort of played a bit for Norway, and Billing didn't get on last night, but he played. He got called up, didn't he, to the Danish squad? But yeah, I don't think there's been, like I say, it's mainly the two Welsh lads, isn't it? Meps and Brooks. That's right. We'll have to wait and see on. Yeah, we'll see about that.
So, you know, obviously we'll go to the team and your selected lineup very shortly. But, I mean, what do you think JT's message is going to be ahead of this game? Is it just going to be more of the same?
Yeah, I would have thought so. Obviously, the last game, it feels like ages ago now, but it was Coventry. Really yeah. And I think the game was brilliant. I really enjoyed it because it was such... I felt Coventry probably played their part in the fact that they weren't one of them teams that set up with 10 men behind the ball. They kind of had a go, which played into our hands a little bit. But the only thing really from the first half was that we weren't clinical. I mean, how we were 1-1 at half time, I do not know. But yeah, it was literally because we weren't putting the ball in the net. But some of the football was really good. And I think JT will just say, he obviously said more of the same at half time, which worked. So I would have thought he would just say that, you know, keep playing that expansive football and taking risks and, you know, overlapping down the flanks. And that was really good. I remember, you know, Meps was overlapping from a centre-half position against Coventry. Yeah. It was really hard to pick all them players up. And obviously Gosling got a couple. So, yeah, I think more of the same, like you say. I mean, we haven't lost. And I don't really feel like we've looked like losing, to be honest. So obviously the game we didn't win was a late equaliser against us for Borough. Yeah. I've never felt like we're going to lose a game. So yeah, I think more of the same.
Okay, so based on that, let's go through the team that you think. And it looks like Begovic seems to be the favoured keeper at the moment. Would you agree?
Yeah, I would have thought so. I think if Begovic was going to go, he would have gone abroad. So that's gone now for me. He's not going anywhere. And to be honest, I think fair play to him. I think I saw a little interview of him, and I think he's kind of come in. He hasn't thrown his toys out the pram. He's almost gone, you know what? It is a new manager. Eddie didn't fancy me near the end for whatever reason. JT's obviously said, if you want it, we've lost Rambo, you can fight for it. And he has. He come in, he didn't start the first league game, and he come in for the cup after Travers made a little error against Blackburn, performed well, and now he's taken his opportunity. And Travers has got to wait now for, you know, potentially FA Cup or something, or hope that Begovic makes a few errors. But at the moment, I'm happy with him.
So at the back in the last few games, obviously we may have Rico, Cook and Mepham. We don't know whether Lloyd Kelly's going to be back or not. Obviously, hopefully he took to heart Dan Jima's, you know, stay strong Lloyd message or whatever it was on his T-shirt, even though it is a slight pull, a bit weird, but each to their own. Do you think those are going to be the three that are going to be the three defenders at the back?
I think we'll stick with the same three of Meps right centre, Steve Cook in the middle with Rico left centre. I remember him saying that he was JT hoping that Kelly would be back after the international break. But for me, you get a knock like we did to Kelly, and it gives someone else an opportunity. Well, Rico's given the opportunity because of an injury, and he performed brilliantly, and we've won the game against Coventry. So gives Kelly, you know, he doesn't need to be rushed back. Do you know what I mean? Because Rico didn't let us down. So I think now Rico's got that spot until maybe he has an underwhelming performance and Kelly can come back in. So I'm happy with that for you. Yeah.
What I really like about Rico is quite often he plays these very fast, low, crisp passes into the striker's feet, or he'll, you know, put people on the run like he did last season for, I think it was Callum Wilson, who then crossed for David Brooks, those kind of balls. And he did that against Coventry, and he's done that whenever he's played for us. And those are the things I actually really like about him. And he set Dan Gosling free, of course, for his third against Coventry with that challenge where he just, you know, put his body in the way, and then he set Dan Gosling free, who rode a challenge, and, you know, a few steps later shot in the back of the net. And I really like seeing that from Rico, and I think it would be harsh to drop him. So I'm happy with those back three.
I think you can get that a lot when you get like if you play a back three, if you get like a natural fullback that can shift in there. You know, someone like Smithy couldn't do it. You know, just because of his building the type of player is. But sometimes you can get a fullback, and obviously Tyra Mings has kind of developed into that player, hasn't he? Where he was a left back, and moved inside. And sometimes then it means they've got that different eye for a pass because they're used to playing out a fullback role. And I think you can, like you said, you can certainly see that in Rico. The only other thing I'll comment on is if Meps, obviously, because he had a little bit of knocks in Wales and he's only just come back, if he were to be fit, that would be interesting because Kelly wouldn't be a natural replacement because it's on that right side.
Or would we go for, someone like Offerball? Perhaps?
That's what I mean. I think it would be either an Offerball or Steve Cook to the right and Simpson, I guess.
Okay, yeah, of course, yeah.
Or Steve Cook to the right and Kelly in the middle. I don't know, but that's just another thing to think about. But like I say, because Meps played last night, I think he played the full 90. I'm hopeful he'll be okay.
What really worries me, Tom, is that every time we predict our lineup, we're doing it based on what we think, and then when it comes to 2 o'clock, there's always one injury we never know about, and then we start to shit ourselves.
Thinking, it was last time, wasn't it?
It was. So I'm sure there's going to be one of them, but we're just doing it based on the fact that we think they might be fit. So player 6, player 5, left side and right side. I mean, I suppose that's obvious, is it?
Yeah, picked itself. Smithy on the left side and Stacey on the right.
Yeah,
I think they both perform well. I think it says a lot about Stacey that Smith's been moved to the left because I think Stacey's that good that we've had to accommodate Smith. But I still think, I can understand what people say sometimes about, you could for the balance, maybe a left footer. But I think that Coventry game, the amount of time Smithy broke through down that left, I thought we had a lot of, and it gives you a different option because he can come inside as well. Do you know what I mean? And then it can allow someone like a Rico to then go beyond. It's I'm more than happy with them too, to be honest. And like I say, because Rico's filling in, we expect to potentially fill in one of the centre back roles that loses him to have a chance at the left wing back. So yeah, I'd expect that to continue.
You might notice that I didn't even ask you. I automatically defaulted to a 3-5-2 rather than this 3-4-3 we deployed earlier in the season. But this seems to be what's working for us at the moment, and Tyndall seems to be a manager that will stick with what's working. And so the 3 midfielders, that's what we're assuming. If we do go with that, who are going to be those 3?
Yeah, I think it's because of the way these 3 have performed. It'll be Lewis Cook slightly deeper, so probably in the 7, and then Jeff Lerma and Dan Gosling in the goal machines. So, but yeah, I think that's down to how they're playing. I think Lewis Cook's been given a slightly different role. He did give away the penalty in the game, which was just a bit of a rash tackle from him. But I think he's almost trying to be a bit more bitey in that new role. But I like it. He's getting himself on the ball, and I think if we can keep him fit, he'll get better with every game. And Lerma, this new role has been, he's just I don't know what's happened, but he loves it. And it means that Lerma and Gosling can just press. I mean, they're both really energetic, aren't they? So it works really well. So I just don't think you can drop any of them 3, which means you kind of play that system. And I think it's probably, we look a bit more comfortable in it, a little bit harder to break down. I think in the other system, we maybe looked a little bit light in the middle of the park at times because it tends to be Lewis Cook and Lerma and they on their own, and they tend to always have a man against them, an extra man, which made it difficult. So yeah, I like that. I think it gives us a lot more control on the game.
And then up front, we're going to assume that Josh King is not, is gone. And then it all depends on whether Dan Juma's back or not. And Solanke, David Brooks. I mean, well, what would you be doing up front?
This would be my only change because I think against Coventry we started with Solanke and Surridge as a front 2, didn't we? I'm keeping Solanke, and I thought they both played well. But like I mentioned about with Rico kind of earning his right to stay in the team if Kelly is even back, I don't think Surridge quite done enough to keep Dan Juma out of the team. I mean, Dan Juma was on unbelievable form Monday, and it sounded like he just had a little bit. It almost sounded like an injury where they just didn't want to risk anything. But he's been in training, so that's all we can go off. He looks fit and ready to go. So I don't think Surridge, I thought, put a good shift in with Dom, but Dan Juma was on fire, and if he's fit, he's got to play. And so I'd have Dan Juma just off Dom. Yeah, I think whether he's injured or not, there's no doubt about it that David Brooks is not 100% fit. I mean, Wells wouldn't have sent him home otherwise. So I think if he's not fit, I would just have him on the bench again, like we did against Coventry. And we didn't need to bring him on in that game, but he was an option if we needed him to for say half hour or 20 minutes or so. So I'd do that again. Maybe Junior can get on the bench as well. He's been in training, I've seen. So that's really positive. Gives us, you just suddenly look at this. If that was, say, the team, for argument's sake, that we just said, you suddenly then look at the bench and you see we're not even going to mention Josh King. You still see potentially David Brooks, Junior Stanislas, Sam Surridge, Phil Billing. There's some players there. So Riquelme and the Roro as well. Forget about Roro. So, we got some options there now. So that's good to see. And that's still a strong team, I think. So, yeah, no, I'm happy with that. But like I say, you never know. Dan Juma was suddenly out of the Coventry game. So who knows? But yeah, from what we know, my only change from Coventry would be Dan Juma for Surridge, I think.
Who's the player? Okay, you know, we always seem to have one player that always just gets injured or something in the warm-up or before that we don't know about. Who's the one player out of that lot there that you fear the most if they're not named on a match day?
Oh, in terms of I would be the most gutted.
Yeah.
I mean, you know I'm going to say Lerma, so I don't know why I asked it. No, I think, actually, if I'm thinking about it logically, I mean, as much as Lerma's 10 times a player of Billing, in my opinion, you've got a like-for-like replacement that can come in. I think if we're saying with that team that Kelly isn't fit, then my worst player to lose would be Steve Cook, because then suddenly, do you know what I mean? We've lost our two main centre-backs. But I also feel like as much as Smith and Stacey, like I say, are brilliant, we haven't got a natural replacement for him. If we're asking Rico to play as one of the three, you'd have to kind of say Zamora or moving someone out of position, like say a Stanislas at wing back or Riquelme do a job there. Do you know what I mean? We'd have to put someone out of position. But I think in general of what they can bring to the team, I love what Lerma brings to the team. You know, and anyway, now he's bringing goals as well. I love what he brings. But
I'm really excited. I cannot wait to be watching it. So this is Tom Jordan's team. What's your team? Let us know in the comments below. We'd love to hear what you think formation-wise, but also personnel as well. Now, Tom, I'm going to ask you prediction-wise. Come on, mate. In fact, is this game not on the Super 6 this weekend?
It is.
Not that we're any good.
Oh, I hate it. I hate Super 6. Last week I thought, I tell you what, there's no Premier League. I'm going to nail it. I got one game right. Luckily, I got it bang on right. It was Portsmouth. I got 5 points. But I got nothing on it. Nothing on anything else.
You're probably ahead of me in the table now.
I don't know. I'm not even looking.
Yeah, scarily don't even want to look. But I know it's in the hundreds. Let's not talk about that. But prediction-wise for the game itself, feeling confident?
Yeah, I think I'm confident. I don't think it'd be weird not to be confident, I think, at the moment with the way we're playing. I mean, I'd rather have your prediction because you said 3-1 against Coventry. You got it bang on. So yours is the one we all want to hear. Cautiously, I'm going to go 2-1, I think. I think QPR will be a little bit more, street smart than Coventry. I think Coventry come into a team like a team that have just been promoted and kind of went for it. And I thought credit to them. I think QPR will be a little bit harder to break down. I think it'll be a little bit more even, but we'll have too much for them. So I'm going to go 2-1, and I'm going to go for a Dom Solanke brace. He's going to hit the ground running.
Brace.
Yeah, he's going to come. Yeah.
Right. This is what I'm going for. AFC Bournemouth, 3. QPR. I'll go for a solid 3-0. And I'm going to go for Dom Solanke. I'm going to go for Jeff Lerma. And also, I think Dan Gosling as well. The goal machine. And it's nice to see, actually, that we're actually scoring goals from different areas on the park as well, isn't it? So, Jack Stacey, of course, in that first game. And then we've got Jeff Lerma popping up, Dan Gosling. It's great to see. So, those are Tom's predictions as well. Let us know what you think. And remember, you can join us for the free-for-all at full time, 5 o'clock, to have your say. Tom, thanks very much, mate, as ever.
Cheers, Sammy.
Cheers, mate. And looking forward to hearing your views. Hopefully, we'll be staying all positive. But if you're a Queen's Park Rangers fan and you're watching this, let us know which players that we should be worried about and whereabouts should we be worried about you. Is it set pieces, counter-attack? Let us know. Just educate us. We would love to hear. Anyway, see you in the next video of the Cherries.